In today's video, I'm going to show you how I made this portable two-piece camping chair. The frame is made out of white oak and the backing is made out of nylon strapping. This thing is super easy to build and it just looks plain awesome. So stick around and I'll show you how I did it. Today's video is brought to you by Western Rise. Their pants are versatile, comfortable, and high performance. They won't wrinkle, smell, or stain, and they stretch in every direction. The high quality, durable material means that these pants come with a lifetime warranty, which is good for you because that means that this will be the last pair of pants that you will ever have to own. I have been rocking their Evolution pants for the past 2 weeks now, and these things are absolutely amazing. They're water resistant, and there's also a pocket in the front for your phone and a hidden zip pocket in the back for your wallet. The thing that I'm loving most about my pair of Evolution pants is while I'm working in the shop, I have to bend down, stretch, and move things all day. And I find that these pants, with their super durability material and their stretchiness, they make for a really comfortable shop time. Western Rise is so confident that you'll like their pair of pants that they'll let you test drive them for free for 7 days, where you can try on multiple sizes and colors, and they won't charge you unless you keep them. If you order from the link in the description below and use coupon code BLKTC at checkout, you'll save 10% off your order. Again, that code is BLKTC at checkout. Again, thank you Western Rise for sponsoring today's video, and let's get to the build. No, I get that, but do I be honest with them and tell them, like, before I got these pants, I mean, I used to work in the shop without pants on all the time just because I couldn't find any that fit perfect and were just comfortable? No? Yeah, I probably shouldn't share that much information, should I? All right, just want to double check. Hey, what's going on everyone? Welcome back to the channel. So in today's build, I'm gonna build a portable wooden camping chair. And I actually drew the inspiration for this build from a guy at my son's baseball practices. He walked up and he pulled this chair off his back and just laid it on the grass and sat in it. I thought that was the coolest thing. His was made out of aluminum and plastic netting for the seat and for the backrest. But of course, I knew I had to make one out of wood. And so what any normal person would do, I got on Google and Google searched to see if there was anything similar like that made out of wood. And of course, I came across a company who actually makes these things, and they sell them for about 180 bucks a piece. And I knew I could make it a lot cheaper, and plus it would just be a fun challenge to try to make one. Going further down into the rabbit hole, I came across a YouTube channel. His name is Patrick Remington, and he made a chair very similar to the one that I'm drawing inspiration from. And I'm pretty sure it's the same chair that I was wanting to build. So anyways, I'm shouting out his YouTube channel, and I'm gonna link it to my description below so you could check that out. I'm gonna pull some ideas from his channel and then also incorporate my own. To build mine, I'm gonna use white oak. I have a bunch of that left over from some recent client builds where I was building dining tables, so I'm gonna use white oak, but you can build yours out of pine, oak, alder, whatever you want. Like I said, I just have that white oak on hand, so that's what I'm gonna build mine out of. And then for my backrest, I actually ordered some nylon webbing, so I'll wait for that to arrive. But in the meantime, I'll get the chair built, and then when the nylon webbing gets here, we'll go ahead and install that. So anyways, let's get to the build. All right, so here is all my scrap white oak. And right now it is about 1.25 inches thick. And I need to plane it down to where it's 3/4 inches thick. And then we will get to ripping it on the table saw. And then when I get to that point, I'll give you all the dimensions we need, because most everything in this build is actually the same width, but different lengths. So once we get to that point, yeah, I will show you the dimensions. And of course, the way we do things here, we gotta make it a little cinematic. So let's get to planing this wood down. Okay, so here's all the wood that you need to build the chair, and let me go over what you need, the sizes. So everything is milled to 3/4 inches thick except these pieces, which are going to be the pieces you sit on, and these are a 1/2 inch thick. So you have 2 of these, which are 38 inches long, and again 3/4 inches thick. You have 2 of these, which are 27.5 inches long, 3/4 inches thick. Then you have 6 of these, which are 16 inches long, 1/2 inch thick. And then you got 3 of these, which are 16 inches, and these are 3/4 inches thick. So that's all the pieces of wood you need. And so now let's get to assembling it, and I'll show you the dimensions you'll need for that. All right, so we're gonna start out by taking our pieces that are 3/4 inches thick, cut to 16 inches in length. And we are gonna go ahead and make the marks where we need to place them on our 2 that are 38 inches long. And you can see here that on these pieces, just to give them more of a style, I went ahead and cut a 45-degree angle on them, and I did that on my table saw. And I just went ahead and measured 1/2 inch from the edge and went ahead and made my 45-degree cut. That way it left a little, flat edge on the part there, and I just think that looks pretty cool. So, yep, let's go ahead and measure on our long pieces now. Okay, so this is gonna be the back of our seat, and the 2 measurements that we're gonna do is 10.25 inches. So we'll mark that on both of these pieces. And then the piece of wood is gonna sit right there on top of those lines. And then continuing on the back side, the last piece is actually just gonna sit flush at the top here. And you can see that on my last piece, it's gonna be the top piece on the back side of the chair. I made it a little bit thicker than 1.5 inches. I just think it's gonna look better being a little bit thicker. So that piece is gonna go up here and sit flush, like I said. And the next measurement we're gonna do is we're gonna turn this over, and this is gonna be on the front. And you're gonna measure up 7 inches from the bottom. All right, so now that we have those marked out, we can take our pieces that are 16 inches and get those screwed on. Okay, so we have our lines marked out, and let me show you what I'm gonna go ahead and do now. And this is completely optional. I'm gonna do it because I think it will look good and also add some strength. So you can see here on my front side, I have it marked out at 7 inches. And when you turn it over, it's marked out at 10.25, and then flush with the top, like I was saying. And I'm gonna take it over to the table saw, and I have my table saw sled set up there. And I'm gonna go ahead and dado out some, I'm gonna go ahead and dado it out right here. And that way I can put this piece in there, and I'm only gonna dado it out maybe 1/8 of an inch deep. That way it will add a little bit of strength, but I think it was gonna look really good as well. It's almost like a half lap joint. I'm just not going that deep. Man, and my kids left the shop door open today, and there are so many flies. Okay, so now what I'm going to go ahead and do is actually just go ahead and attach these with glue, and then I'm going to go ahead and pin nail them in, and then come back and put them in clamps. There we go. So while we have the backrest in clamps and drying, we're gonna work on the seat portion of it. And for the seat portion of it, we are gonna take our two pieces. These are at 27.5 inches in length. And then I made these spacers. These are at just under 13 inches. I'm gonna place them in between like this. And that way, when we put on our slats, it's gonna stay consistent. And I'm gonna make sure that the overhang on both sides is exactly the same. And then we're just gonna go down. And again, you measure like 3/4 inches in between each slat. And then we're gonna go ahead and take our drill with this countersink bit and go ahead and drill and screw each one of these down and make sure that they are glued as well. And then that is gonna be the seat portion of the seat. Okay, here is the seat portion all done, and you can see that I got those screws all countersunk in and even spacing. Yeah, it looks really good. So then I just pulled the frame out of the clamps. I'm gonna set this up and show you how it goes together. We're getting close, not quite done yet, but very close. There's a few more things that we need to do. Okay, so we're gonna take our back frame, and this part up here faces towards the back, and then we take our seat portion here and we go ahead and slide it into here like that. And it leans back, and there you go. So what we need to do now is actually cut some bevels on here and get that all measured out so that when this sits, it's not resting directly on just the corners. It's gonna have a nice taper to it. And then we'll go ahead and taper the ends here, make it look nice. And then tomorrow when I get my nylon webbing, we're gonna go ahead and make the backrest, and this thing is gonna look way sweet. I'm super excited. So, talking about angles and how these are gonna sit on the ground, I'm just gonna take this 3/4 inch block here and lay it out and mark that. I'll do that on all 4 legs and go ahead and cut that like that. And then I can just add like a small little bevel on the front there, just so there's no sharp edge. And yeah, we'll get those cut. And here are the angles cut on all the pieces. You can see they are sitting perfectly flush with the ground, which is just what we want. And now what I need to do is go ahead and put the backing on the back of the chair once that arrives here tomorrow. And then basically we can get this thing finished up and get those magnets installed, and this thing will be done. So I went ahead and applied the finish to it, and what I applied is a boiled linseed oil. I went ahead and just wiped it on, let it sit for a little bit, and then wiped it off. And now I am going to apply the backing, and I got this nylon webbing in, and what I'm gonna do is wrap it around like this and go ahead and staple it on the back, get it wrapped really tight, and go ahead all the way down the chair. And then I'm thinking, once I get it wrapped, I'm gonna go ahead and come in and weave it down this way and just make it really strong. And I think it's gonna look really good. When I was picturing this build and picturing how the white oak was gonna look when it was all finished, I thought that color scheme would look really good, and I'm super happy with how it's gonna look. And then I also went ahead and installed the magnets here, and you can see they're right there. And let me show you how satisfying it is when they lock into place. All right, so when you fold up the chair and put it into place, and these magnets will catch, and yeah, they are held in there really tight. So again, put it into place. Yeah, super perfect. All right, so now I'm gonna show you how I'm wrapping this backing on this chair. So I have my 20 yard length of this nylon webbing. So what I do is just feed it under the chair like this. And then I apply a little CA glue here. And the CA glue holds this very, very, very well. And then I spray a little activator on my end there. And then I just line it up next to the other one, so they're touching. And then just press that down. And then I also take my nailer here with some staples in it. I go ahead and staple that. And then what I do is I pull this piece extremely tight and stretch it out. And then I'm gonna go ahead and apply some CA glue on this end. And then activator to where it's gonna match up. Again, pull it super tight. Then take your stapler again. Staple it in place. And then you can go ahead and take your cutter and cut it like that. And then the final thing to do is take your blowtorch and just melt those ends like that so they don't fray. And then when you start your next row, go ahead and cauterize those ends again. And that way they don't fray. And yep, just continue the process all the way down the chair. Okay, so I have the chair flipped over now, and I think what I'm gonna go ahead and do is weave some strips in between it going vertically. So I'm gonna start down here. So I'm just gonna weave over and under all the way up to the top, like that. And then line them up. And to attach the strips, I actually did a test with, again, CA glue and on a scrap piece just to see how it would hold, because I don't actually own a sewing machine to be able to do this. And I could hand stitch it, but I'm just too lazy. But I did a test with CA glue, and you can see how strong that bond is. That definitely won't be coming loose anytime soon. So I figured if I do that in between each strip, this thing should hold up extremely well. And I just love the look of that, what do you call it, weaving pattern, I guess. So I think it's gonna look really, really good. All right, so you can see here that I've gone ahead and weaved everything. And then if you flip it over, you can see on the back here, and what I'm gonna do on the back, so on these ones, I'm gonna fold these over and then glue them here and do that same with that one. And then corresponding with the top, I'll do that as well. And then on the bottom ones here, I'm just gonna go ahead and cut these flush and then glue them here, because I don't want to fold them over and have them shown on the front side. So just keep it clean on the front side, I'm just going to glue these ones on the back. So we're getting closed, and I love the look of the weave. I'm glad I went ahead and did that. So let me show you one mistake to avoid that I didn't take into account when I was designing it, and it's just a simple, stupid mistake that I made. But anyways, you remember the magnets that I put in here? Well, they no longer line up because I forgot that the front was gonna be on this side and not on this side. And so, yeah, now I can't drop the seat in from the front side here. But it's still fine because it can slide in, as you see on this side, and you can go ahead and push it in, and it's snug, it's not going anywhere. So, yep, that's just one mistake to avoid. Just make sure your magnets line up when the seat is on the back side here, and you should just be just fine. But anyways, this thing is done, and let's roll the shots.
Dump in the jump. Top when I speak, all cap with the speech till they caught up in the rapture. I'm so out of line with the phrase game. Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line with you fall through with the light sticks. Maybe help me spark the ideas. We got nowhere else to go, it's only up from there. I've been on my own, just running through the fields. Say vivid for the ears, I know that's how they like it. Yeah, I fantasize it. Tell me that it's real when it's all said and done. I said it how I feel it. I let them hear the fear of a passive aggressive angry black man with a passion. Steady grip while I shoot to the stars with a full clip. Jotting line with the loose leaf, then I proofread till I lose sleep. Couldn't handle the truth, me your bed with the writing. Love at first sight, art over hype. Need a sound bite for the time capsule. Press play, they pause time for a bit. Smitten, I admit it, could they kick it? I'm in love with the fine print. Scribble type of think what they find behind it. Why the suspicious behind the eyelid. Tell a reckless with the clauses. Careful with the cost me. Need it forever, but I never ever stop until they put me in the coffin or they off me. They cook the auction, they false print. Always treat this shit with a caution. Hold it 10 toes down for the dogs. You can see the paw print. Searching for the answers.